Now, if you are of a certain age, you've heard the horror stories of Pol Pot's Cambodia, the Japanese rape of Nanking, China, what Hitler did to the Jews and Christians in Germany, and what Fidel Castro and Che Guevara did to their countrymen in Cuba just 90 miles away from our country. What all those scenes of mass slaughter of men, women, and children in the history of the world have in common is the inability of the victims to protect and defend themselves and their children. Now, our founders knew this only too well. Even though our founders came before Pol Pot or Hitler or Fidel Castro or what the Japanese did to the Chinese in the 30s, our founders knew the nature of man, and they knew what had gone on before them. So, happily, they included the Second Amendment to our Constitution, which specifically recognizes that your God-given right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Now, people who want to fundamentally transform a free society into a dictatorial one tend to go after two things: your right to self-defense and your health care. If they can disarm you and take your medical decisions away from you, they feel like they got you. Now, we've been told that our new president-elect will move to strengthen our Second Amendment rights by appointing judges who respect the United States Constitution. We've also been told that as soon as he's sworn in, he and the Republican Congress in Washington will move to repeal Obamacare and give our health care decisions back to us. We wait with great anticipation, hopeful that they will, the President-elect and the Republican Congress in Washington, that they will jointly keep their promises. And yet, here in the natural state, as in most other states in our country, our state government has found a way around our constitutional rights. Arkansas's child welfare system is set up so that if someone has a personal grievance against you, he or she can call a hotline number anonymously and falsely accuse you of abusing your children, and the next thing you know, you're surprised by a knock on the door and a state employee demanding to come into your home right now and speak to your minor children alone without mommy or daddy present. The Stanleys know this only too well. The Arkansas Division of Children and Families can and does take children away from parents who love them. They can and they do lie to those parents in order to remove their children. They can and they do forbid the parents to explain to very young children during supervised visits why they were taken away from mommy and daddy. Now, when parents beseech their elected representatives in the Arkansas State House or the Arkansas State Senate to please intercede on their behalf, the attorneys for the Department of Human Services remind those legislators, can't talk about specific cases because of the confidentiality law. It's against the law. Sorry, no, can't talk about specific cases. The law was intended to protect children, but the DHS attorneys use this law or these laws to protect their caseworkers from any responsibility for what they have done to parents and children. And don't think for one moment that Governor Asa Hutchinson is unaware of how that works. Just 3 days ago, the governor, speaking through his official communications director, J.R. Davis, went on Twitter and said this, and I quote, "If you're listening to talk radio hosts, sound off on child welfare cases. Remember, they're only dealing with half the facts. People are free to make allegations. DHS, by law, must keep certain facts confidential for the safety of the child and family," unquote. So I responded to the governor, who spoke through his communications director, and don't think for one moment, regardless of the fact that the communications director says, oh, my tweets are only my opinion. No, 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 no. No, no, no. He's not going to get in the middle of this unless he has the governor's blessing. I responded, F-I-F-Y. Now that's shorthand in social media fixed it for him. And I said this, DHS by law is allowed to shield their screw-ups from legislators who hold them accountable using confidentiality as an excuse. JR and Asa have not responded. Because how can you respond to what you know is true? So, if his official spokesman who speaks for the governor is defending our state government, hiding behind confidentiality laws to hide their misdeeds against children and families, the governor himself is defending this practice. Well, Governor Hutchinson, as Moses said to Pharaoh, let my people go! And I pray that the Lord will soften the governor's heart instead of harden it. But we have